Indika. I
Yeah.
think that's how you pronounce it. I'm not sure, unless you disagree.
No,
Which was
but
our
we
subcon.
did disagree on the outcome though, didn't we? So it's fascinating. We normally agree on
We
everything. We
did.
didn't agree on this one.
And listeners, if you were to predict, so this is a quite a sort of art house game, isn't it, really? It's very weird, very
Yeah.
interesting game. If you were to predict who liked it and who didn't, you might also be surprised. I feel like we should do that a clickbaity type title. Like, there are seven things we're going to talk about Indica, and you'll be surprised by number five.
Yeah.
No, you probably won't. You'll probably know exactly who's going to say what. But here we go. Let's say it and see. You can feel all
Ooh.
smug if you're right. James, what did you think?
I'm gonna set the scene first. So the game's about a nun in some kind of convent slash institution, probably in Russia or somewhere in that part of the world. The developers were Russian before they moved off to another country to finish the game when there were some troubles involving Russia, obviously. And yeah, so it's based around a girl called Indika who is having a bit of a sort of crisis. She's got some mental health issues. Number one, she hears voices in her head that are probably from Satan or something similar, she thinks. And she had a bit of a crisis of conscience about good and evil and what she should be doing and how she'd end up where she is and what the future holds and where she really feels her place is in life. So she's not the greatest of nuns, not least because she occasionally goes into daydream mode when she starts hearing voices and then she sort of comes around and has dropped something and annoyed someone. So she's generally thought across pretty poorly by the rest of her nun colleagues. And eventually she's sent off on some kind of mission to deliver a letter to an abbey somewhere or some other monastery or something, somewhere outside the city, with the hope that she never comes back, probably. And obviously you don't know what the letter is when she goes off and you don't know where she's going to. But yeah, that's pretty much setting the scene, isn't it, Giles, I think. So for me, personally, I really enjoyed it. That's the spoiler out of the way there. You'll be surprised by point one that I really enjoyed it. So I enjoyed it for a number of reasons. It started off really weirdly, which I kind of piqued my interest. So you start off sort of falling from the sky in a sort of a cartoony way, and you sort of collect these strange shapes going down. But there's no indication that you're meant to be collecting these strange shapes. You sort of fall through the sky for a while, and you go, "Oh, some strange shapes. I better start collecting them." And you eventually collect a requisite number of these strange shapes, and then appear in the game somewhere, and then the drama starts to unfold. And it's a very strange game in that it creates lots of juxtapositions between old stuff and new stuff, and lots of weird bits. So all the background of the game is very like 80s inspired. So like the menu and the title screen and where you level up is all like an 80s video game with very old fashioned type fonts and strange colours, and that's weird. And then you get occasional flashbacks to her past, which equally flash back to sort of 80s games, which are pretty basic, and you play these little strange little sub games within the game, which is very odd, but quite fun. I quite enjoyed that. And then the game itself is just sort of an adventure game involving not many people. So it's you and then this weird bloke you meet on the way who sort of has a withering arm. And you go on adventures trying to find this religious artifact in another city that he hopes by finding this religious artifact, God's been talking to him to save his arm and he's going to sort of recover the function in his arm. But it doesn't end that way. And yeah, bit of a sad ending, really. But I enjoyed it because it's so weird. It explores some interesting themes between good and evil and what the purpose of life is. And some things are demonstrated by being meaningless. So one of her tasks is you have to fill a bucket up 5 times from a well and then pour it into another bucket. And then when the nun colleague comes out, she just tips the bucket out and that's the end of the task. So that really frustrates you. So there's really frustrating parts in the game, which I think are designed to show you the helplessness of the situation she's in her mind. So graphically, it was fine, not outstanding. Plot wise, interesting. I got something out of it. I don't know what I got out of it, but I just found it fascinating the whole way through. You never know where it was going to go. Really interesting main character. Just weird, but fascinating for me. But you didn't like it for some of the same reasons, probably.
Yeah, I mean, essentially for everything you just said, was why I didn't like it. Well, no, that's not true. I think so. I definitely agree about the weirdness and the interest. So yeah, it started off. I was intrigued. I think it tells you very soon after you collect those things that it's pointless collecting those things. Don't bother collecting those things. So it's sort of trying to kind of keep you on your toes about what you should actually be doing and what's important, and that's obviously part of the kind of themes in life as well. And they're sort of trying to explore people's purpose and faith and all kinds of interesting stuff. I just thought it wasn't very good. I thought that the flashback little games, like you said, sort of 8-bit style, 80s style, they were quite fun, and I enjoyed those. There were a few interesting puzzles, I think, as you went along, which I thought were kind of rewarding and quite satisfying. I liked dodging all the fish in the fish factory. I liked being chased by a big, massive, scary black dog who... I don't know if that was a real black dog or if that was some kind of allegory for depression. Who knows? But there were these little bits within there, and I think clearly what they were trying to do was really interesting and really good. I was really bored. The game was really clunky. I thought the controls were clunky. I thought a lot of the puzzles were quite rote and uninspired. That said dog, I don't think it's probably a mild spoiler, apologies, but eventually you sort of escape it, and then you just watch it getting hit repeatedly by a water wheel over and over again, and you can't do anything but watch this dog get battered by a wheel. I felt very much like that dog playing this game, to be honest with you. And then there was a very long ending, which I won't spoil, lots of philosophizing, and I just kind of went, It didn't make me feel anything, and it made me, apart from bored and quite disappointed, because I think in concept and in even the way you're describing it, Jason, I'm really glad you got something out of it. I was quite excited by this when I heard about it. I was quite interested. My first reaction when all that sort of opening sequence happened was wow, and then it made me like go and fetch some potatoes and carry water, and I thought, I think I might know how this is going to go. So maybe it was the wrong game at the wrong time, but yeah, didn't do it for me, unfortunately. But very pleased you enjoyed it. That's the main thing.
Yeah, for me it was all about a story about showing you how things seem really important when you do them, and you get really into doing this thing, like the man on the withered arm. His entire life was set about being spoken to by God and getting to this place, and that would sort all his problems out. But in reality, it didn't happen. So I just found the whole concept fascinating. I was really enjoying it. I smiled quite a few times. Bit of nudity as well. I haven't seen a nude nun before in a video game, so that was slightly different, if a bit superfluous. And yeah, I just found it really intriguing. It's only like 4 hours long, so it's my type of game length. So that was nice, and I thought it just kept me thinking, kept me on my toes, and I enjoyed it. So yeah, it's like a 7.5 for me out of 10. I would happily recommend it to people that enjoy games based on nuns that are ultimately completely pointless.
It's definitely novel, I would say. I don't think there was a Sister Act tie-in game, but otherwise, or Nuns on the Run with Robbie Coltrane. Otherwise, I can't think of any other nun-based games. Although listeners, watchers, I'm sure there have been some. So please, write in and let us know if there are more than none.